Davina McCall was granted her lifelong wish by her older sister Caroline, hours before she tragically passed away from terminal cancer. The former Big Brother presenter, 55, has bravely opened up about her sister's tragic passing, after she was diagnosed with lung cancer, which ultimately spread to her brain, leaving her with 2 brain tumors. Sharing her beloved sister's story on Stephen Bartlett's award-winning podcast, Diary of a CEO, Davina explained how Caroline granted her with a lifelong wish before her passing, even though it was hideous for Caroline and made her skin crawl. Davina explained throughout the podcast that she had never really been able to get through to her older sister, because she had her walls up so high that she never allowed anyone, not even her sister, to see her vulnerability. After being told by doctors that Caroline was terminal, and that she had mere weeks left to live, Davina made it her mission to break down her sister's walls, and in doing so, the TV presenter gushed that she had the best 7 weeks of her life with Caroline before she tragically passed away. Given that Caroline would never allow Davina to see her vulnerable side, when she eventually let her walls down around Davina, her lifelong dream came to fruition, and it happened on one of Caroline's last days. Speaking candidly about the experience with podcast host Stephen, Davina explained that for weeks, she had begged her sister to let her care for her in the evenings before going to bed. However, it meant that Caroline would have had to allow Davina to see her naked, something which she had never done before. Eventually, one night before she laid her head down for the night, Caroline gave in and told Davina that she could moisturize her skin because she knew how much it would mean to her sister, even though it was beyond uncomfortable for her. "She taught me so much in her death. She was so brave. She never once complained. She never once got frightened, she never cried, and she tried to look after me," Davina explained. Obviously, nobody had ever seen her naked, and she had this amazing carer called Claire. "Oh my God, she was the best ever. She was the most gentle, and she understood respect and dignity. And because Claire was so amazing, Caroline would not let me get her undressed or ready for bed. She didn't want me to see her naked. And the night that she went to sleep for the final time, and then 3 days later she died, she let me do it. To me it felt like Mecca, it felt like I had arrived. This was my pilgrimage to my sister, I had finally crawled over the fence and I am now at our body," she went on. Through tears, Davina continued to recall the incredibly special moment between her and her dying sister. "I asked her if I could moisturize her, because every inch of her body needed to be creamed so that she wouldn't get bed sores. I couldn't believe it, she had the softest skin. My sister had no hair, like at all. Her arms were so soft. I kept telling her how soft her skin was and she was laughing away. She called me ridiculous. I got to cream her whole body and it felt like she had given that to me. And it was hideous for her. Even when she was dying, she gave me a bit of herself that I had never had before. It was so nice. That night she went to sleep and she was really distressed. They came and gave her more morphine, she was called me mummy and holding on to my hand. She had never been like that before. I was with her when she went and it was really lovely. I kept talking to her the whole time because they say your hearing is the last thing that goes. And I just wanted her to know that I wasn't crying, I was trying to be really strong for her. I kept saying to her, I'm going to be fine, because, I think out of everything, she was most worried about me. That was her last thought, whether or not I was going to be okay, because she knew how much of a backbone she was for me. It wasn't just me taking care of her, she was taking care of me. She wanted to make sure that I was going to be alright. Davina couldn't hold back emotion as she discussed the final days of Caroline's life, saying, "It was the worst thing that's ever happened to me." Caroline passed away at the age 50 in 2012 after she was diagnosed with lung cancer, bone cancer, and was told by doctors that she had 2 tumors on her brain. Davina found Caroline paralyzed on the floor one morning after a bout of ill health and took her to hospital, where she got the devastating diagnosis that she had just months to live. She then cared for Caroline at her home until she passed away.